Hi, I'm Drew.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to Drewling Samantics.
Evening, Drew. How you doing?
Are you allowed to talk to people on Zoom when Mummy and Daddy aren't there?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, you look so fresh-faced and innocent.
Oh,
This is obviously not my friend Sam Dunning sitting there. It is someone a quarter of his age.
Right. So what's happened over the past few weeks is that every time one of us greets the other, it's very much in reference to appearance. So we keep alienating the podcast viewers because they're not podcast listeners because they're not viewing on YouTube. Honestly, ladies and gents that are listening rather than watching, you are missing absolutely nothing. Drew is merely alluding to the fact that I currently have no facial hair. So I've had a shave. I've had a job where I needed to be clean shaven. And so I don't have a beard. I'm not sure it makes me look a quarter of my age because that would make me in the region of 9. So I think the grey and other bits probably give that away.
I was being generous, Sam. I mean, but you say the viewers are missing. You know, the listeners are missing nothing. I mean, I think they're missing seeing the light bounce off your youthful skin like an exploding star. How about that, mate?
Yeah, admittedly, the lighting in my studio is a bit more friendly than my portable setup or the setup I've got here in the flat. Anyway,
yeah.
But yeah. No, but anyway, mate, it's lovely to see you. How are you?
And you, mate, and you. And I'm taking it because you've been shaving. I mean, I know you've been filming it, but you've had a busy one, have you?
It has been busy, mate. Yeah, and in fact, I've been working most recently with a friend of the podcast, the legendary Mr. Photoshop Phil.
Oh, the great man himself.
Phil, who joined us last season, season 6, I think he was a guest.
Season 6, yes. Towards the end of that season.
A self-confessed camera and photography equipment addict and Lego connoisseur.
Lego master.
Yeah. Anyone?
So I'm presuming you've not been, building, the Death Star grey bricks or something like that,
Sadly not. No, well, I say sadly not. No, it's still been enjoyable. I've been doing some modelling work for him and the company he works for. But really lovely to see him in person rather than through a screen, as we did most recently. But so been busy, bit of filming, bit of modelling, as said, with Photoshop Phil. What about yourself? Been busy?
Verona and I, we've got some events coming up over Easter at the old watermill, and it's had a bit of a rejig, a reconstruction. So I've been donning the overalls and slapping a bit of paint around. Some people refer to me as a labourer. I've used the term scenic artist, although I've only been working in one colour and there's nothing much artistic about it.
Yeah,
but no,
I thought it was pronounced senile, but carry on.
Should have seen that coming, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I mean, to be fair, we've really gone youth and you.
No. Thanks a bunch. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, mate, I don't know. I haven't spoken to you for a few days, and I've missed out on insulting you.
Light on the insults, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but by the end of the week, we'll be ready to start theming for next week for Easter. So yeah, that's
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
But a little bit of I've got an event coming up at the weekend. I've got a Faulty Towers at the weekend, so I'll be
So while the lovely general public who join us on Sundays are tuning in, you'll be away working because we're obviously end of the week but not hit the weekend yet. When we're recording this. So you'll be busy doing important things. I'm going to be recovering because of mental week with everything going on. And putting every effort into growing some age back into my face. starting to look a bit more like a man.
Have you got any more? Have you finished filming? Because if you've had a lovely clean shave now, have you got to grow it back and force it out for any?
Literally. So I finished I finished at silly o'clock in the morning on a film set on Tuesday, because we just had to get stuff done. But we've got more days, and I had beard at that point. Then I had to have a quick shave ready for modelling, which I've done this week. Later on in the week, and now I'm just full kind of effect into concentrating on getting the beard back out, ready to film again. So I'm not one of these people that sort of wake up in the morning and the beard's back already. It takes me a few days to get some character back in the face, but yeah, I should have enough time, hopefully.
It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, because I know we've spoken about sort of, changing appearance and timing of that, but it is a juggling. And then someone says, "Oh yeah, could you keep your hair that length?" And you think, no, because I've got another, and I mean, it's great if you're, a celeb, well paid, and you can go, I can do that because I've got nothing. I mean, occasionally people have said to me, I mean, I did a filming a couple of years back, and they just after the Welcome Guest, and I don't even remember, I had my forehead shaved. I mean, there's not an awful lot there to shave off now, but I had it shaved right back, and not only did they do a good job of that, and they paid me for it, but I also had to time that against anything else. Going, well, am I doing? No, I'm not. I'm all right, Then they did get me back and to do some pickups about 6 months later, or no, maybe not that many months, but all grown back and said, I can't have a haircut. They went, don't worry, we're going to put you in a hat. It's like, phew.
There are always shortcuts, aren't there?
Yeah. It's only half a day's filming. We're not going to cut your hair for that. We'll give you a cap. You'll be outside. It's like, yes, brilliant.
But yeah, so anyway, on to normal operations. I'm assuming that though you've been busy, you haven't been too busy to cast your eye over the wonderful world that we work in. What's to report, mate?
Well, I've got a couple of little news stories, but I don't think we can really move on without referencing the very sad loss of Mr. Paul O'Grady.
Yes,
We've referred to people in the past as national treasures, but he really was someone beloved by so many people of so many different spheres of life. I mean, he was no doubt a fabulous entertainer, both as himself and as his alter ego, Lily Savage. I mean, he started off, I believe, by accident, because he spent many years on the pub circuit. I think he was resident for 7 years at the Vauxhall Tavern in South London.
Wow.
As compere and performer there. But apparently he was watching someone one night and they were introducing some acts. And he said, I can do that. They said, what, compere? And he went, yeah, I can do that. And he instantly dropped into, this character that was so wonderful and so redolent of his, because he was brought up by grandmas and aunts and that. And I believe I think it was his grandmother's maiden name was Savage.
Oh, right.
So that's how I think that's how
she came around.
How Lily came about. But it was such a wonderful character who could get away with, that lovely, dry, acerbic wit. And obviously, for when
I think Lily Savage as a character was interesting, particularly because she was almost a blend. So she wasn't straight out drag in the sense that, I mean, Paul O'Grady obviously played on the fact that he was a man in women's clothing, but it wasn't the Panto Dame-esque play on it. It was almost she had a backstory, and she had a partner and children, didn't she? And she had all these sort of, like, there was history, but there was still the odd sort of nods or tongue-in-cheek moments where I know and you know, but we're all sort of accepting the fact that I am doing this, and I think
it was interesting.
A different way of doing it.
Yeah, it was interesting listening to comments from people in the street from Birkenhead and people that knew him and was saying he was so real, or Lily was so real. As, they were like the women that you would meet. He was saying things that he heard that, and they were all little bits of the women that brought him up as a lad as well, So he was you could identify with that women. You see those women, whether they're shopping in, Co-op or whatever, or they were propping up the end of a bar with a gin and orange or something. You saw those, and he was so real. But it all came from a love of those people.
Yeah.
And I think that reflected in his generous nature, and his people were saying that if you were in trouble, Paul would help you. Paul O'Grady would help you out. And obviously everyone knows him as this wonderful animal lover and compassionate human being. I mean, he was a social worker before he started. He was a social worker in Camden, for God's sake. So that he's always had a big heart, be it for human beings or, because he did lots of work at Battersea Dogs Home. So there was this, and I think that's why when he became himself, when he just took the wig off and became Paul O'Grady, and not Lily Savage, people went, yeah, fine.
Yeah.
We love him. We always knew underneath that, that brash, Scouser, there was a lovely human being, because she was lovely in her way. So, but a very, very great loss. He was.
Absolutely. And just a huge talent, but as you say, like a real person as well.
Yeah. Really.
So on multiple levels. So a toast or a raise of a glass to the late great Mr. Paul O'Grady. So thank you for everything he did for our.
Yeah, I mean, there was before we move on. It's. I mean, I think we should tip the hat to a lot of performers. Wouldn't be where they are today were it not for some of the trailblazing that he did, not only in the world of drag, because he helped popularize it and make it user friendly. I mean, there are two, like you pointed out, there are two elements to his performance. He was a very real woman, but it was also, there was that tough.
There's the nod. Yeah.
Drag artist, the nod. Yeah. But I mean, you shouldn't, lose sight of the fact that the work that he did for LGBT plus performers, and a lot of comedians, people like Alan Carr, and they were great friends. And I think their careers were helped by some of the groundbreaking, because I mean, Paul O'Grady was fearless as well. He had no fear, and challenged, opinions. So one more time, Mr. O'Grady, rest in peace. Going from something very, very real and down to earth to something very unreal. I don't know if you've heard some of the news about concerning AI. Artificial intelligence.
Here is a subject that is enormous, particularly in our areas of expertise.
Absolutely. I mean, there's been a little bit in the press recently about some of the big tech companies saying we should back off a little bit. I mean, Apple and Microsoft have said, the director going, well, we just slow down the development. It's not good for, humanity. And was like, well, we know that. But then there's been further reports during the week of, and and I know that AI is replacing or is able to replace artists doing voiceovers.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you said that they only need to record a certain number of words, and then AI can fill the gaps in.
Yeah, it's when you think it's not that long ago that we first started having. Well, I say it's not that long. I couldn't put a date on it, but do you remember when they brought in voice recognition, like if you were doing telephone banking?
Yes.
Like, so rather than having to put in a pin it would recognize your voice. Well, that's now completely null and void because there's software out there and programs out there that can take a sample of someone's voice and then just run with it. And as you say, as a voiceover artist, slightly concerning. I mean,
Yeah.
That's a job that's going to vanish. I'm not saying it's going to vanish per se, but could feasibly cut down the amount of work for voiceover performers considerably, because if you've got a computer that can do it, and with the greatest respect to voiceover performers like ourselves and you, it won't make a mistake. Like, we might have to do something twice.
Hey, that's true.
As long as it's typed correctly and the program is functioning correctly. Obviously, there are situations where it may not be, but computers aren't prone to human error. So
I hadn't thought that. Yes, yeah. Your computer's going to be a one-take wonder, isn't it? You know,
efficiency, yeah.
I mean, if you imagine
your computer wouldn't, because you ain't got a bloody clue what button you're pressing. But
you say that, that's not strictly true.
No, I mean, two buttons.
Exactly. But I mean, there's upper and lower case. They're the ones I work in. But I mean, if you think about I was as well. But you think you record something, and then if there's sufficient quantity of words or you'll never get the job again. Yet it will still be your voice. Would you get repeat fees for that? Would you get paid for that? Because it's still, in a way, it's your physical / intellectual property, because it is your voice on which it's been built.
Yeah, well, I guess it comes down to similar to doing an advert. You sign that contract to begin with, don't you? How much of what you're giving do you sign away in that contract? Do you say, right, what I am allowing you to capture now, be that your voice, your video, your whatever, you can use that for 1 year, and you can use it only in these areas or these things that you've called it. But I don't know too much about it, other than the fact that I know it happened. But excuse me, James Earl Jones gave audio samples, didn't he? So Disney now don't need to. Is that correct? They don't need to use him for any future Star Wars stuff, because they've got everything they need.
I think that's right. Yeah. It's extraordinary, isn't it? I mean, we are seeing ourselves replaced by ourselves.
Well, so you've got that. You've got the AI involved in recreating your voice. You only have to look back over the last sort of 5-10 years of film technology to see actors playing younger versions of themselves with filters and whatever. So springs to mind, Robert Downey Jr. was played the young version of himself in Avengers Endgame, I think it was, or perhaps on the other end of Avengers films. So rather than finding a young performer who could conceivably be a younger version of Robert Downey Jr., they've gone, well, no, we're just unage or de-age or whatever, backwards him. So you've lost potential opportunities there. Just a disclaimer, people listening and watching, I'm not saying technology is bad in movies, like or in our industry altogether. Like, very important and leaps and bounds, and we're able to do amazing things. But where do you sort of draw the line, and where do you go, we're now shortening opportunities? Because I guess the problem is it comes down to efficiency and money, doesn't it? As does everything in the world.
I think it does. I mean, it's so good that we're not noticing the difference. That's the thing, is there are. I mean, you can tell. Yes, you can see when people are manipulated to look younger, but you kind of go, it's one of those things you swallow, because I mean, we watch films. Everyone watches the movie. You know that's not true. You know someone cannot float, 20 feet off the ground. It's a special effect. So so even if you see a young version or an older version of an actor that's not been done with latex and not been done with, it's done AI wise, CGI, whatever, you go, okay, yeah, I'll buy that. It's part of the story. It's part of the fantasy. So it's there's no realism. There's no loss of realism, but it's just imagination. And our imaginations are as big as we need them to be.
Well, it's very true. But then when you've got AI programs that are writing scripts and control, will it all become artificial? I mean, it can't, because you need human you need that element, that the ability to perform and whatever. But yeah, I think there's a shortening in the opportunities on the horizon, and
I
perhaps
mean, how many people went to see ABBA?
Well,
The
yeah,
holographic. I mean, it was.
exactly.
I'm not a huge ABBA fan, but I mean, watching that, no people who went said it was just absolutely amazing. It's
Yeah,
like, okay,
but there's no one there. Like,
no one there. It's just
and yeah, I mean, we know how popular virtual reality headsets have become in the last decade. People playing games because they can then immerse themselves in what they're seeing. And I guess it all comes down to personal preference and belief on where you draw that line. I mean, random example, the majority of the Pirates of the Caribbean films, for example, I would suggest are not recorded out in the Caribbean on proper big boats. I'm sure they did certain bits, but
really.
but the majority of it's got to be blue screen, green screen. Like,
Sure.
How is that any different to unaging someone or recreating someone's voice? It's small steps, but you kind of have to go, who's missing out? And but it all comes back down to money. Why are they not out in the Caribbean on these amazing old pirate ships? Well, because it cost a fucking fortune to do it.
Exactly.
Why have they not brought in an actor to play the younger version of blah blah blah? Because, well, casting director fees, hiring a place to cast, getting people to travel to be in there, all those extra costs come in, and
paying the actor.
Yeah.
No.
There we go. That said, I'm sure that these incredible people working with visual effects at those sort of levels in the AI, so I'm sure they are not cheap, and rightly so, because they're doing incredible things. But,
amazing work. Work.
Basically, what we're saying is, don't take all our jobs away, please.
Don't take it all. No.
Yeah.
No.
Take away the painting of the Sistine Chapel or whatever you're up to at the moment.
I felt like that. Yeah.
If we can have a robot do the painting for you, that'd be great. But
I love that. Yeah.
But yeah. So I think some interesting stories, but I think actually what we need to do now is address something slightly closer to home. Or I say closer to home, closer to our home, or our baby that is Drewling Samantics. Because actually, it's the last episode of the season, isn't it?
Yes. Last of Us.
Yeah.
No guess. Yeah. Before we go into the best ofs. Yes.
Yeah, of course. So we've got a couple of best of episodes before we then return for our next season, which I'm very much looking forward to. But yeah, I guess just a sort of a quick thank you, obviously, to the guests we've had on this season, who have all been amazing. We'll obviously go into that more next week with the best of guests. We're going to do some highlights of them and talk about them a bit more. But equally, I think I was going to say we owe the lovely listeners and viewers an apology. I'm not sure it's an apology, but I guess we have to admit to substantial failure. Not substantial failure.
I think we need to explain ourselves. That's what it is. Explain yourselves.
We made a big point at the beginning of the season saying that, right, what we're going to do this season is we're going to go out and about a bit more. We're going to make sure we go out. We're going to meet people in their own habitats, for want of a better word. And actually be a bit more active. And have we done that?
No, we haven't, mate.
No, we haven't. No,
we haven't. No.
Not through laziness. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. In the fact that we've been so busy and all over the place,
you're working.
Which is lovely. It's been difficult to orchestrate that, but it is still something that we very much want to do, because as much as it's wonderful and we have very generous guests, generous with their time, who will find the time to join us on Zoom in between things, what we'd like to do is have them where they want to be, where they're working, doing those things, so we can sort of bring, for anyone who joins us on YouTube, maybe a sort of a different visual element, but equally for all the listeners and all our sort of followers, hearing what they're doing in the places where they do it and
where they're doing it.
Kind of, and that was the target, which we failed miserably at this year, but it is certainly not something that we've kind of just cast aside, and it is something we really want to do going forward, because we think it's important, and think it will definitely bring something. So that's why why we kind of wanted to mention it, even though we haven't done it. So, but aside from that, it's been an incredible season. Like we've had
great, a lovely season,
some amazing chats. We've been able to sort of address various issues, milestones. Some of the things that we sort of hit and things that have come up. So we had, I think we hit, was it 9,000 downloads this season?
9,000 downloads.
Yeah. We were 2 years old.
2 years old.
We are now over 2 years old. 100th episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, just things that, and at risk of repeating myself and stuff we said in the anniversary episode, things that a couple of years back, if you'd said, oh, in this time of 2 years, you'll be talking about hitting these milestones, never would have even like given it, wouldn't have comprehended the fact that we would have been here. So again, broken record, but just want to say an enormous thank you to each and every person who is listening, watching, who downloads or streams or has at any point joined us in any of our 100 and whatever episodes. 103? No? Yeah.
I don't know how many it is.
Because it's just meant the world to us. And the fact is we're still here doing what we love. And we somehow find time for it wherever we happen to be.
Where we are. That's the most important thing. I mean, I think we haven't got out and about, as we said. However, we have got out and about ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's keeping things fresh.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we do sit down, albeit not in the same place, and go, what are we going to talk about this week? What is that? And there is always something happening, and there's always something happening it seems to be for us. Albeit one of the quietest times of the year, you know, we're now getting, it now gets busy. I mean, we've worked through January and February. It's traditionally a quieter time.
Yeah, the post-panto lull is always
post-panto, post-Christmas into New Year, pre-spring. So spring is upon us now, and you know things are moving again. So maybe we can move more. Maybe we can get out and about. But you know, it's been nice to have lots of stuff around us happening that we've been able to talk about and share as well. You know, that's important. I think we've had some really important chats and important things to bring to people. You know, with odd little bits of news and things. So yeah,
it's been. I mean, the whole podcast thing has been a massive journey from day one, and I actually sat and watched one of our first episodes the other day, and it's quite eye-opening the changes that have happened, and just I think how we've grown, and it's nice to reflect back on that and to look at. Obviously, we often still reference the unwelcome guest, which was our primary starting point, or the reason that we kind of jumped into this different area of the industry.
There was nothing else to do.
we were bored. But how lovely that what started out as a little project because we were bored has flourished into what it is now. And again, it is thanks to everyone that joins us each week or sporadically or listens back, or everyone that has commented and messaged and liked and shared and whatever else. It just has made the past 2 years plus fly by, and equally a really, really rewarding period. And that's why when we say we want to go out and about and we want to bring more guests with more areas and these important stories, and we also want to pay tribute and homage to those who have passed, it's because the support that we've been given and the things that we have felt from the general public and from the listeners is we want to give that back in the way that we can by continuing to bring this sort of content, and we just want it to keep improving and keep growing. And as a result, plug time, please do continue to share, mention to friends and family, and just get us out there, because with your help, we can grow bigger, and the bigger we get, the more we can do and the more we can bring. So it's that constant circle, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we're not only are we thankful for fabulous listeners and viewers, but we do have some great guests planned for next season.
Yes.
So so we've got good guests. We're going to get out and about, so that we get these pasty little faces out into the world.
Yeah.
And I just think, as you say, did we think we would get to 100 episodes? No. Are we going to have a go at getting to 100 more? Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's the important thing to say.
Yeah. If it doesn't kill us in the process, but no, it is one of my highlights of the week. Speaking to you, and that's number one because you're one of my best friends, and we get on so well. Whether that be work. Which is somewhere sort of between work and friendship and just normal having a bit of a catch up and a bit of a laugh. But equally because I like the fact that we are doing something that seems to make a difference, however small. And that odd comment that comes and goes, "Oh my God, I listened and you said that was hilarious," or "I had no idea that blah, 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 blah." Those little things make you go, yeah. Not that I ever don't think it, but it is all worth it, and it
is. And we would like to hear more comments and more things like that, because keep them coming, because it's very important that we keep everything relevant. It's very.
And we're going to continue to do that by bringing news and updates of what's going on in the industry, and as we say, we're going to try and get out and about and just make it a bit more open, I guess. See if we can encompass a few more things, but no. So I guess it's time for another raise of the glass. For the last time, I was going to say last time live this season. I mean last time where we're fresh, new, rather than reflecting
too much.
Yeah, and looking what's the word? Reliving moments. So, but yeah. Cheers to everyone who listens, watches, downloads, streams, mentions, comments, messages, all those kind of things. Obviously, cheers to you, Drew.
And you, mate.
What an amazing season it has been. Looking forward to watching back over this season with you over the next couple of weeks with our highlights. So please do tune in for those because they are great episodes, because there will be bits that both of us have forgotten and just really enjoy reliving. But equally, there'll be those bits that we go,
I remember that. That was important. Yeah.
So we'll see you all next week for highlights of all the guests that have joined us on season 7. But then we'll be back properly with a brand new season in 3 weeks' time.
3 weeks, yeah.
Something like that. 3 or 4 weeks.
Start it all again.
Yeah.
Season 8, my friend.
Season 8. Wow. Lucky number in China, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Yeah. Let's hope it's a lucky number in Drewling Samantics land. See you later, everyone. Have a good one.
Cheers everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks again for watching this episode of Drewling Samantics.
Please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video.
Don't forget, we're also available as audio only. Just search Drewling Samantics in any good podcast app. And please support us on social media. All our links and handles are on screen now.
We love welcoming new followers and subscribers, so why not share with your family and friends so they can join in too? Thanks very much. See you next time.